She's just killed. Right now, everybody. Sorry, I just had to put the car in gear. I know this is quite difficult to watch. We didn't see it, we just saw her chase, came up here, and there she was on the kill. And this is the duiker that ran from her. She came down here, got a fright from something and ran back towards where it came from. She's got it on the wrong side. See, she's got it around the throat, at least around the back of the neck instead of the throat. I know this is quite difficult to watch, everybody. Yeah, we missed it too, Mrs. Lapwing. We just saw her chase, came up here and had her here in the open. She caught it just in the bushes to the right hand side. The problem is that its windpipe is still open. They're very tough to watch. Yeah, hyenas could easily come in because this duiker made a quite loud screaming noise. And so yes, it's entirely possible that hyenas come in here. I'm just going to have to call this in. Africa Tlalamba is just south of where Tela Dam Wall. She's just killed a duiker. I'm trying to call her in, she's just killed a duiker. Rexon says to me I'm a star, as if I had anything to do with this. Alright, while we watch this, and I know it is hard to watch, just to let you know, basically, when a leopard catches something this size, the best thing to do is to grab it around the throat and so they can strangle it. She's obviously got some of the windpipe because the duiker is running out of puff now. With smaller stuff, what they do is they bite it around the neck where she's got it there and it snaps the spine, and obviously they can't kick. And the tongue's now coming out, duiker, so I'm pretty sure it's nearly dead. Shame. Yeah, absolutely, Sir 50. If she were to change position, she would risk losing it. I don't think now. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's dead, or just about dead. She'll try and get it up into a tree, maybe. You can see it's still moving. And you can see that it's taken a little bit out of her. She too is panting. I also think we often tend to think of duiker as being a little bit smaller than they are and her a little bit bigger than she is. And that duiker's not that much smaller than she is. Butterfly, I've never seen a prey animal get away at this stage. I think that you'll find, even if she let go of the duiker now, it might just be able to recover itself sufficiently to move if she left it alone. But I think it's too weak to get away from her now unless she was too exhausted to hold on at all. Do you want me to go back slightly, Jandri? Yeah. I'm just going to go back a bit, sorry. How's that? All right? Quite something, wasn't it? To see that. Now, I am often quite confused about their movements directly after a kill like this. There's a perfectly good marula tree very close by, and she has pulled the kill away from it. So I'm not really sure why she would have done that. Stations, there are now 2 stations in the sighting of Tlalamba. Sorry, I'm afraid, Kirsten, I missed that. Yeah, affirmative. Yes, for sure, Tisa. The duiker could injure her. Absolutely. Not at this stage. I think it's much too weak now. I think the life is slowly being snuffed out of it. And so, yeah, I don't think that at this stage it could hurt her, but yeah, for sure, when she started, one of those hooves catching her in the eye or something like that could really have hurt her quite badly, for sure. Alright, we're going to try and reposition now once she's moved through that little open area and down over the top. Gee whiz, eh? What a sighting. Don't see that every day. Alright, John Dee, let's try and get into another position. My comms are now not functioning. Comms check. That's better. Yeah, I got you now. See how tired she is. Lovely little grove of tambutis that she's found. Oh, Nora, no, I don't think the duiker would die of shock. I mean, it's possible that shock would play a part, for sure, but I don't think it would die of shock. That green quarry bush is in a deeply, deeply inconvenient place. So irritating. Here we go. Look at her go, eh? That's pretty impressive. Okay, Johndry, let's move around a little bit to the front. Here's the princesses up the tree. Unfortunately, there are countless branches in the way of her. Oh no, it's not too bad. It's pretty good for you. My illegal photography, however, is taking a bit of a pasting from the sticks all over the place. And this is often what happens, and in fact, quite often what they do is they'll stash the kill, come down the tree, and then lie on the ground beneath it, because you can see she's exhausted. It's taken a lot out of her to chase and then kill the duiker. The duiker is now dead, in case you were wondering. Now, I suspect quite strongly that we're not going to be able to spend all afternoon here, because it is a weekend, which means there are lots of landowners all over the place. And in the background you can hear a thrush. I think it's a robin. I think it's a robin. What is that? I'm just going to look on my bird application. Savannah, I have had a close call with a leopard once. A young male landed up on the bonnet of my car. And he did that after he was pinned by some wild dogs. And it was half him, I think, trying to escape the dogs by getting onto the car, and half him actually deferring his aggression. It was on the bonnet of the car, and thankfully he didn't come further than the bonnet. I was very scared. Very, very scared. I know you can hear the other guests talking, but I'm not going to ask them to be quiet. They're very excited. I'm just playing the white-throated robin chat now, which I think is maybe what we had. I'm just going to play the bearded. It's definitely not a bearded robin that we're hearing. And now I will try the thrush. I think it's a white-throated robin. Sorry, I know that you're all just looking at the leopard and wondering what on earth I'm on about, but I just want to find out if we've got a Karakan thrush. Yeah, it is. It is the thrush. There we go. Yeah. She's now apparently about to start eating her duiker, which must be still warm. You know, we so rarely see this that I'd really like to get your impressions on what it felt like to watch that duiker lose its life, because that's what we watched. So often we see the kills complete, the leopard or the lion are eating their food, we don't watch the death, and we've just watched an animal die. And I think it's quite interesting, the responses that people have to that experience. If we're so inured to it that we don't even notice, or because it's not a primate or a kind of humanoid figure, it doesn't kind of affect us that much. Are we so inured to it because we eat meat, or did it shock you? Does it make you feel dreadful, sad, sorry? Now she's lying on her meal, which seems a strange thing to do. Well, just let her settle, and then if she does, I'll see if I can get a front-on shot. That's quite nice. HH, you said it was hard to watch? Yep. Yeah, and many of you actually saying that you left the room and that you didn't want to watch it. And HH saying it was hard to watch. I still find it difficult to watch, I must say. And then I feel like a bit of a hypocrite because I obviously eat meat. And so I think it's, for those of us who do eat meat, it's a good thing that we realize what it's like for an animal to lose its life. It just connects us slightly more with what we're eating when we go to the supermarket and buy something packaged. You know, it kind of separates us from what it means for an animal to die in order that we can eat. So I always find it a good reminder to myself to watch. I still find it difficult to watch, I must say. And then I feel like a bit of a hypocrite because I obviously eat meat. And so I think it's, for those of us who do eat meat, it's a good thing that we realize what it's like for an animal to lose its life. It just connects us slightly more with what we're eating when we go to the supermarket and buy something packaged. You know, it kind of separates us from what it means for an animal to die in order that we can eat. So I always find it a good reminder to myself. Sergio, you say the circle of life? Yeah, for sure. It's definitely the circle of life. But it doesn't mean that we don't feel a certain sense of sadness over watching it. I'm not for one instant suggesting that Tlalamba did anything wrong, or that there was something odd or strange about what happened there. It's just quite interesting to... I think we as human beings have a much greater appreciation of death than most animals. She's still panting. Kev, you say you have found such a joy to watch live hunting. Well, yeah, you know, it's interesting, Kev, so do most people, but what they don't like to see is the actual moment of death happening. And in fact, it's so common, it's so almost universal that if you watch one of those kind of awe-inspiring BBC documentaries, you'll actually never see it. You'll often see hunts, you'll see animals chase, you'll see a takedown, but the actual moment of death you will not see. And it's because people don't like to see it. It's difficult to watch. And certainly, you know, we learnt that during the Gauntlet series, our migration series, the first migration series in the Mara. We got hundreds of kills on camera. And people found the anticipation of the hunt and the chase just fantastic. But the actual takedown, at least, and the takedown, but the actual death and opening up of the carcass people found very difficult.